be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
T-Bridge, and this time he lost one, and it's picked off.
And Brady and Moss hook off great football players, showing why they're great.
He's got it. 20, 10. He's got it. End zone. Touchdown, Titans.
Well, alrighty, guys. It's Wednesday night at DFS Advisor. Welcome to the show, guys. Got a lot on tap tonight. We're going to stick in the free agency stuff that's going on. We're going to stick with some of the coaching stuff that's going on. We're going to start moving into getting ready for next week at the Combine. We'll be up there live, bringing some stuff to you from the Combine. Got a lot going on down here in Tampa Bay right now. Got a lot going on with all our charities. Our inner circle leagues are hot and heavy drafting already. We have a few more leagues kicking off next week, so stay tuned to that. But like always, we want to start the show off tonight thanking our sponsors. Our sponsors are so important with what we do, guys. Not only from a financial standpoint, but from a support staff standpoint, interaction with our leagues, interaction with our charities, interaction with the community. Our sponsors play a great, great big part, and we always want to thank them and bring them to the forefront. So leading it off, I want to thank Premier Properties with Steve and Nikki. You guys are our number one. You guys do so much for us. I want to thank Norm with the Freaky Tiki, the local Hernando Beach pontoon boat cruises out here. I want to thank J.R. Lewis. J.R., thank you for your support from a music standpoint, helping us cut some of our bumper music on our Tampa Bay media stuff. You've been such a great help. And speaking of J.R., he's going to be at the Lazy Lizard tomorrow from 1 to 4, I think, tomorrow. So if you want to get your day drink on, like a lot of these Floridians do down here and a lot of the snowbirds do, catch JR at 1 o'clock at the Lazy Lizard in Hernando Beach. He's a good time, Nashville-type country music guy. You'll really appreciate his stuff. We also got, as you can see at the top of the right screen up there, we got our new sports talk radio stuff coming out. It's called Loud and Clear, where we're doing a lot of our local sports stuff, whether it be football, baseball, high school football. We're going to be doing some stuff with Devy leagues that have to do with Loud and Clear. Where we're going to start highlighting a lot of high school football players that will be eligible for Devy League fantasy football. So stay tuned to that. You can catch that on the app too. For you guys that have stepped out and made the commitment to the app, we really appreciate you guys. And like we've said before, we are really being picky on who we allow on the app. So the only way you can really get to the app is through me personally. I've done it that way for a lot of reasons. It's keeping it clean. It's keeping it clean, keeping it fresh, keeping the trolls out, keeping a lot of the troublemakers away from our with what we're trying to do at Inner Circle. So big shout out to Tampa Media Group for allowing me a free ride up to the Combine. You guys are so great. You've helped me so much with the journalism stuff, the photography stuff, the access to the Bucks. I appreciate you guys so much. You'll never know how much I appreciate it. So the story is coming full circle into fruition of what the dream was this time last year. And going forward, it so much has come to the dream I was expecting, what I was trying to do, and it's all just fallen into place. And it's been so great to get rid of the the bad luggage, baggage bullshit and get it out of the way, making new friends, new relationships, and it's been so cool. So thank you so much to the Tampa Bay Media Group. You guys have been great. And want to send a shout out to Profitable TV with Scott Farrell and the Prophet. Guys, I am so serious that if you are into betting, if you're into betting sports, whether it be spreads, whether it be parlays, well, Scotty don't really get into parlays. Prophet does a little bit, but get rid of my dip so I can talk. But them guys at Profitable TV, you got to check out Scott Farrell and the Prophet. They are giving you guys some great content for betting. They're winning you money. When I looked at some of their pay packages for paying for Profitable TV and paying for their betting site, I was like, damn, that seems like a lot of money. But you know what? It really ain't. When you look at what some of these guys are winning and what you can win, if you follow these guys, take their advice, it's enjoyable content. Scott has been a great friend throughout the years, and he delivers with his sports bet advice. So I would consider him probably one of the best. Get hooked up with Profitable TV app and check them guys out. They are really, really good at what they do, and they'll make you some money. We're going to jump into some of our league updates with Inner Circle Entertainment. Inner Circle Entertainment has worked really, really hard over the last few months to put together some very quality leagues, some good dynasty stuff, some good Devy stuff. We have our regular redrafts kicking off. We got a redraft that's getting ready to draft here this week. Guys, we're not looking for volume. We really aren't looking for volume. What we are looking to do is not take your money, number one. We want to build relationships. We want to have fun in these leagues. And like I've been telling a lot of these guys that have been coming into these leagues, we're not looking at doing collective leagues where we're taking a rake like some of the other leagues are. I'm not doing this to make money as a commissioner. I'm not doing it to make money for Inner Circle Entertainment. Inner Circle Entertainment makes its money off of our journalism, off of our photography, and off a lot of things we do locally here in the Tampa Bay area. So from a fantasy football standpoint, we're not looking at making money off of the leagues that we do. We're looking to have fun, make new relationships, and just enjoy fantasy football for what it is. I'm not looking for numbers. I could give a shit less about having 50 leagues. I could give a shit less about having guys from other leagues. What I want is to build relationships, build solid dynasties that last 5, 6, 8, 10 years down the road. That's why our formats and our dynasties, where you pay 3 years up front, that money sits in there and it commits the player to playing in the leagues. It's already proven itself with creating active leagues. Our leagues that are drafting now, these guys are active already. They're trading already. They don't have to worry about paying for a 2027 future pick, 2028 future pick. These guys are trading like crazy. We'll talk more about that later. Got some guests that are getting ready to come on the show this next week out of these leagues that have gone through some of these drafts. So we're going to update you guys on that. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to all the guys that have joined these leagues, that have joined the app, and that are being committed to a group of guys. And that's what we want. We want the camaraderie. We want the fun and just enjoy fantasy football without all the bullshit reading through the bylaws of 13 pages of all this shit these guys do. We're not looking for that. We're very simple. I'm an old school redneck. It's simple to play with Jimbos. And that's the way a lot of these guys are liking it. Have had a lot of great feedback. So as we go forward with that, we're going to jump into thanking a guy. Inner Circle, we give away a lot of prizes, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight. We're going to talk about some of the things we're doing with the Inner Circle leagues, and I always screw up this dude's name. And we give away a last to join a league, last to pay type of thing. A guy that comes in at the end to seal it up, fill the league, get the league going. And I'm in a few leagues with this guy, and he kind of sat back and watched. All of a sudden, we're getting ready to fill this league, and who jumps in? So I'm going to try to pronounce this. I always screw it up since it's a long name. Thanos of Fantasy. Anyways, so in our Diamond League, Inner Circle League that's drafting right now, I'm just going to shortcut it. Thanos stepped in right at the end, came in, and it was cool kind of what he put it in chat of kind of like, you think I'd miss this? I'm not missing this. I'd be a fool to not join this league. And I'm in some Devi leagues with him, so it's kind of cool. And you get a prize of a $10 gift card to Subway for stepping up, filling that league, and paying your dues of $150 for the 3 years. It's a $50 league, pay $150 up front to pay. And we do that on purpose to kind of get through some of the riffraff of guys that join leagues, quit leagues. If you got $150 invested in a dynasty league, you're going to play. You're not going to quit after a year because you had a bad team. And if you do, you're going to lose $150. But so it's been cool. We've had great chat in this league. And Thanos, I want to thank you for joining the league, filling the league, and get with me in DM. We'll get your address. And if it's not me that talks to you, it'll be Shelly. She'll jump in there and grab your address, and we'll get that $10 Subway gift card sent out to you right away as promised. Some other updates that we got going on, just wanted to let you guys know that have been following Jimbo's from the get. Things are going along real good with the California issues. Had some updates with that legally. It's going really, really good. Actually, I got refunded from League Safe on some of the legal stuff that's going on with a particular league. Sleeper's dealing with it. It's been great. The Attorney General in California has been dealing with it. It's been great. The investigation continues, but everything has been thumbs up for Jimbo's on that side of the fence. And looking forward to the outcome of finalization of that in 2026. It should be over and done with by June. So moving on from that, I want to talk about this. Okay. Last week, this come out with Bucky Irving. The Bucs running back, he come out, had a great season, put, White kind of on the bench, took over the backfield for the Bucs, had a really good season under Liam Cohen when he was there. Everything looked good for Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving comes out in 2025, ends up with some injuries, lingering injuries that kept him out of ball games very frequently in 2025. Well, all of a sudden, and it's so funny because I'm in the locker room at the Bucs on a weekly basis. I might not be there every single day, but I am in the locker room usually two days a week at the Bucs. And this story was, I'm telling you, it was the mum. It was dead silent. There was nobody that knew about him going in for surgery and during the off season here. So Bucky Irving goes in, gets his shoulder surgery, and everybody is freaking out. And they're claiming that dude's going to be ready in June. They claim, but this injury he had with his shoulder all last year kept him out of a lot of football games. Okay, Gave Rachaad White a chance to show what he's got as a true number one. There were some issues in the locker room throughout the season with White. Tucker stepped up, did some scoring, but still not the year 2025 projected for Bucky Irving. And I'm going to go out on a limb, guys. I'm going to tell you, I don't have my gut telling me that Bucky's going to be 100% in June. I think the Bucs are going to have to look for a running back. Whether it be in free agency, I don't think they're going to find it in the draft. It's going to have to come through free agency because White's gone. White's days in Tampa are over. And like I've said in the past, I really think that White's looking to go to the Commanders. I would not be a bit surprised if that's what happens. So now here the Bucs sit with their star running back, their starting running back, their one running back with an injury going into camp, going into OTAs. I don't think they can let this be unquestioned. Again, is going to seal the prediction that I had that with the new OC, with Zach Robinson coming from Atlanta. I'm telling you what, I would not be a bit surprised to see Algier, the backup running back to Robinson out of Atlanta, end up in Tampa and starting the season as the number one running back in Tampa Bay. I'm not saying Bucky's not going to make it. I'm not saying Bucky couldn't do it. But if I got Bucky Irving in a draft and I plan on taking Bucky Irving in a draft, I would really monitor who you think is going to back him up. Now, don't forget, Sean Tucker is also a free agent this year. Okay. Do the Bucs sign him? I think so. I don't think he's out of the question to be signed by the Bucs, but I really believe that Zach Robinson is the OC now out of Atlanta that came to the Bucs. I really think he's going to target Algier, and I think Algier is a better running back than Tucker. And I think if I had to bet my gut, I will say Algier is going to start the season because I don't think Bucky will be ready. That's just Jimbo's play. You can take it, you can leave it. But from a fantasy standpoint, Algier is a very sneaky play. No matter how you slice it, he's going to end up somewhere, and I don't think it's in Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta – I think he wants more. I think he's hungry. So this is going to kind of put me into my next thing that's going on in Tampa. It made national news this week. We all kind of were leaning more towards retirement with this guy. We were all more leaning towards, he'll probably retire as a Buck. He's a Hall of Famer. And yes, we're talking about Mike Evans. Okay. So now this has really been heating up in the Tampa media over the past month, really. Okay. There has been all kinds of stories leaking out that Mike's not happy at the Bucs. Mike's looking to move on. Mike's looking to retire. Mike don't get along with Baker. Mike don't like Todd Bowles. Mike this, Mike that. And you had all these things going on, okay? Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. We all know that. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. The guy's on the downside of the 30, which everybody says, you get on the wrong side of 30, you're washed up. This dude's not washed up. He's just injury prone, okay? He can't stay healthy for a full season. He just can't. Whether it's the broken collarbone he had last year, his hammy that flares up every other goddamn week, Mike Evans cannot stay healthy. Okay, if this guy could stay healthy, he would have broke the record last year with, the consecutive 1,000-yard receiving, consecutive receiving years, but he didn't make it because he was out like 10 games, okay? So he's out. Now, the big story breaks, I don't know, yesterday, day before, that Mike Evans has committed to playing in 2026. Okay, so that's a great thing for Bucs fans, right? Well, then all of a sudden, the very next day, his agent comes out, Gilmore comes out and says, okay, look, Mike's going to play in 2026, but we're also going to explore free agency. Mike's going to truly put his feelers out and see what he's worth, see what his options are. And, okay, so are we basing that on just Mike out of a whim saying, okay, this dude been playing here since he was drafted. Drafted in 2014, comes here, has a 1,000-yard season every season except last year. And this cat all of a sudden decides, I want to explore options. Okay, so is Mike Evans chasing money? Is Mike Evans chasing a ring, a Super Bowl? Is Mike Evans tired of Todd Bowles? Is Mike Evans tired of the defense that plays for the Bucs? Is Mike Evans a little unhappy with Baker Mayfield? Is Mike Evans just wanting to find out what it feels like to be wanted? I don't know. Okay, it could be all the above, could be just one. But I do honestly think that Mike Evans wants a Super Bowl before he retires. I honestly, it's so weird because we went through this with Stamkos in hockey down here in Tampa when he was testing the waters of free agency, when he was getting ready to leave the hockey team, when he was finally on his way out. So Mike Evans, where do you think Mike Evans' best chance to play football outside of the Bucs? So let's just take the Bucs out of it for a minute. We'll talk more about the reasons why I think he wants out of the Bucs. But where do you think he falls? Okay. Now, a lot of people think he wants to play for Houston because that's where he's from Galveston. A lot of people think, he wants to go play for Mahomie out there in Kansas City, who may or may not start the season. A lot of people think he wants to play for the New England Patriots because they did so good this year and they're a wide receiver away from maybe being good. They got a lot of good people in place. They got great coaching. A lot of people think because of the cap money that's available that, the Chargers got a chance out there in LA. But if you want to know the truth, I think he wants to go to the Buffalo Bills. And I think the Buffalo Bills is the best landing spot for Mike Evans for a lot of reasons. Now, I've sit here on my little perch throughout the past few months, all of the beginning of the season, and says that dumpster fire up there in Buffalo is a number one wide receiver away from making it to the Super Bowl. And I believe that today. I believe that's why they have not made it. I believe that's why they lost their head coach. I believe that's why Josh Allen continues to have to try to carry the Buffalo Bills on his shoulders. They are one consistent wide receiver, number one, away from making it to the Super Bowl. The key word in all that was consistent. Do I think Mike Evans is a consistent wide receiver to get somebody to the playoffs and eventually to a Super Bowl? I do if the goddamn guy can stay healthy. But he has not proved to me in the last 3 years he can stay healthy. All right, so everybody down here is kind of putting it, you go up in the cold and you play with a hamstring nagging injury, you're not going to do good. I don't know. Mike Evans always seems to fall off lately when we need him the most. The Bucs were one win away from making the playoffs. Were they a Super Bowl contender? Not really. However, they did beat Seattle last year. Mike Evans. Mike Hall of Fame Evans. Do you think he stays with the Bucs? Do you think he moves on? Here's what I think. Here is my opinion on why Gilmore, Mike Evans' agent, whether it was singular or plural, and they both agreed, and I'm sure if with Gilmore coming out yesterday and making this statement that Mike Evans is going to test the waters of free agency, I think Mike's doing it for a couple reasons. I don't think he has faith in Todd Bowles. I don't think he has faith in Todd Bowles' defense. I think he's got all the faith in the world in Jason Light. Jason Light recruited this dude and was Jason Light's very first NFL rookie recruit out of an NFL draft was Mike Evans, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Let's face it. But I think Mike Evans is nervous. I think Mike Evans knows he's limited to maybe all of this next year, 2026, and possibly 27, and then he's probably done. I honestly think Mike Evans is convinced that the Bucs defense is garbage. I honestly think in his heart, he thinks Todd Bowles' better days are gone. I think he thinks that Baker Mayfield is a great guy, is a great leader, is a great competitor, but I also think deep down in his heart, he knows Baker Mayfield is not getting the Bucs to a Super Bowl in 2026 based on the overall team. Now, the team has a lot of holes. Guys, they only have two linebackers on the whole goddamn roster right now. Two. They got Winfield in the back on the defensive side. They got free agency guys hitting all over the place. Levante David about ready to retire. In their defensive line, they got one pass rusher. One. Okay, so everybody in the whole goddamn league wants to get a hold of Max Crosby, right? Okay. So with that said, I think where Mike's at is Mike's going to say this. Last year, or 2 years ago, 2 years ago, when Evans' contract gets done, is different than it is today. Mike Evans is going to sit back and he's going to say, okay, Bucs, you show me what you're getting ready to do. He needs to sit down with Todd Bowles and Jason Light and have a heart-to-heart and say, okay, guys, here's the deal. I'm going to go test the waters in free agency, and I want to see what you guys are going to do on defense, number one. I want to see – we know their wide receiver room is solid. We understand that. But defensively, they need to step up their game. And I think Mike knows that the state of the Bucs right now is not getting him to a Super Bowl. So do I think he wants to go play with a top five quarterback? Yes, I do. Do I think he wants to chase a ring? Yes, I do. Do I think he wants to get paid? Not necessarily. Mike Evans don't need to make big money. I think his value is in the $20 million range? I'm going to say no. It's definitely not $20 million to the Bucs because they don't have it. They are not going to prove to Mike Evans that you can win a ship playing for the Bucs and pay him $20 million when they got all these holes in their defense, all these other holes that they have on special teams. It's not going to happen. Okay, so realistically, to me, I think the Bucs can afford to pay Mike Evans $14 to $18 million, maybe. I would say more around 16. Is there an NFL team out there that's competing for a ship that just lost a head coach, that is one step away from making it to a Super Bowl? I do. And do I think they have the low side of 20 million, 22, 23, 24 million to pay Mike Evans? I think they'll come up with it. I think the Kansas City Chiefs need a receiver. That's pretty goddamn obvious after this week because that stupid idiot Rice can't get out of his own goddamn way and quit being stupid. So who knows what's going to happen with Rice? His days are numbered. That's another Antonio Brown situation. And then, like I've said, the Bills are looking for a number one. Now, let's talk about cap. Okay, so this whole Mike Evans thing is going to revolve around cap. So the NFL cap is a goddamn joke, okay? Because all these guys that push the pencil around, they redo all these contracts. They, change the money, change the contract. For Christ's sakes, Mahomes just restructured his contract to make I don't know how many $1 million available for free agency and restructured that to get the cap down. Plus, the NFL is going to raise the goddamn cap up over $300 million per team, which is kind of a boost of about what, 22, 24 million per team. So every team's going to get about 20 mil to play with more than they had last year. So are some of these top tier teams that are looking for a wide receiver going to have the wherewithal to get Mike Evans? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here, there's a lot of guys talking. Here's my top 3 places that Jimbo's believes Mike Evans is going to go if he doesn't play for the Bucs. So I'm going to put him in order with the Bucs in that order. I think the Bills would be his number 1 choice, cold weather and all. I think the Bills will pay him. I think they will come up with the money to pay him upwards of $20 million. And I think it'll be a 2-year contract, somewhat what Davante Adams got going to the Rams. What was it, a 246? 2 years, $46 million. So I honestly think Mike Evans is kind of using that as a target. Don't forget now, Mike Evans and Davante Adams come from the same goddamn draft class, okay? Now, obviously, Davante Adams hasn't put up the numbers that Mike Evans has, and Davante Adams is a great receiver, not necessarily Hall of Fame, definitely not a ballot 1 like Mike Evans. But just using those 2 for contrast, I think that's where Mike Evans' value is on the market, is right around 20, 21, 22 million a year. So with that said, with a restructuring program, yes, I think Kansas City can make it happen. Yes, I think the Bills can make it happen. So Bills is the number 1 for me. Number 2, which does have the money in cap space to do it and does need a wide receiver and does have a decent quarterback with an arm that needs a X wide receiver, is the Chargers. So to me, I think the Chargers to Mike is probably a better deal in his eyes. However, you start looking at real money and you say, okay, Mike, you go play for California team where the income tax is sky high. We can make a better deal for you right here at the Bucs. So the Bucs is probably my number 3. Bills, Chargers, Bucs, and then I'm going to throw in this wild card. I'm going to call this my wild card pick. A lot of people say Houston Texans are the wild card pick for Mike Evans. I don't think so. I honestly believe that Liam Cohen has enough hatred for the Tampa Bay Bucs to try to lure him to Jacksonville. Now, let's not forget, Jacksonville tried to get him after Liam Cohen went up there, and Jason Light didn't even allow Mike Evans to make it to free agency and signed him, so Liam Cohen couldn't get his filthy fingers on him. But I think Liam Cohen would do it just as a gesture to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to steal away and rip the guts out of the Tampa Bay people. So that's my wild card, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see what happens with Mike. It's going to get interesting, and I don't think it's going to happen right away, because I don't think Mike Evans is going to do anything with Tampa Bay until A, they prove what they're going to do on defense and free agency, and B, what they're going to do in the draft as far as solidifying their defense. And so I don't look for him to make a big decision with the Bucs until later. So I would say, Buffalo Bills, hop on your scooter and get this guy signed before he changes his mind. But that's where I think he's going. So let's talk about the other wide receiver in the room. Yeah, can't get him up. Why is it not coming up? Anyway, froze up. None of them are coming up. Anyway, who cares? All right, so my slide shit's not – oh, there it is. Okay, so A.J. Brown. We've been talking about A.J. Brown for a while. I really, in my heart, don't think he's going to be with the team. He can sit here and start saying all the stuff he said after the season got over, that he really, thinks that the offensive coordinator change is going to make a difference, and that he's really excited about the offseason for Philadelphia Eagles. All that said, where do we really look at A.J. Brown? Good wide receiver, number one wide receiver, top 5, top 6, top 10. Where do you see A.J. Brown? Well, if you take A.J. Brown and you look at his stats, okay, so this is what he did for Philadelphia the last couple of years, and there's a little bit of the Tennessee Titans down there. The guy's definitely a proven number one, okay? So, having the best season of his life in 22 at Philly, 11 TDs, average pass 17 yards, average 14, almost 1,500 yards, 88 receptions. Okay, so he has his best year in 22. So obviously there's a locker room issue with Hurts, with maybe other players. Who knows? Maybe it's with the head coach. Maybe it was with the offensive coordinator that's not there no more. So we'll see. Do I think he's a diva? Do I think he's an attitude? Do I think he's arrogant? All the above. Yes. But with these kind of numbers, guys, who wouldn't want him on their fantasy team? I mean, for Christ's sakes, this guy is making it to the 5th and 6th round of a startup dynasty league. Seriously? Seriously, 5th round? I mean, I'm in a draft right now that's just starting the 5th round, and he's still there. Are people not taking him because they think he's a piece of shit? Are they taking him because they don't like their attitude? Well, if you look at the goddamn numbers, you better be taking him. From a fantasy standpoint, from a fantasy wide receiver, he's a number one. I don't give a shit what team he plays for Christ's sake. He's a number one. So where's he end up? Does he end up at Philadelphia? Hell, I don't know. Roseman does all kinds of crazy shit. He loves to trade. He is like set the league president for trading. He loves to trade. So, yes, I think A.J. Brown gets moved. And I think he'll be moved early. He's going to get traded. That's my opinion. You can take it. You can leave it. You can say he's going to put up a Sirianni and he's going to put up with Jalen Hurts and all the bullshit and, run back 2025. I don't think so. I think he's gone. I think he gets traded. So where he lands, I don't know. Pittsburgh likes divas. Pittsburgh needs another wide receiver. Maybe Vrabel wants him. I mean, he put up with his shit in Tennessee. They're going to maybe need somebody. I don't know what Diggs is going to do between all his little pink baggies and all his little, women he's got running around, all his little baby mamas. Maybe it's a good fit for New England. Maybe. Probably. That might be it. Maybe he goes to New England. But I can guarantee you, in my heart of hearts, I do not think he will be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. So, all right, so we got them guys out of the way. Free agency's right around the corner. It's going to do, guys, free agency is nuts. Oh, it is nuts. I mean, there are so many good players that are free agents right now. It's like off the charts fun for dynasty leagues for me, because it's almost like a reboot. It's like, where are these guys going to end up? It's almost like having a whole new team with all the guys on your dynasty leagues that are free agents, because it's almost like a draft within a draft. I don't even know where the hell these guys are going to end up. There's so many of them. So with that said, check this out. Look at all these offensive coordinator changes. I mean, seriously, just go down that list. The Bears, the Bills, the Broncos, the Browns, the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Commanders, the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Falcons, the Giants, the Jets, the Lions, the Raiders, the Rams, the Ravens, the Seahawks, and the Steelers, and the Titans. all new offensive coordinators. I mean, who the hell knows where your number one running backs and number one wide receivers and your number one tight end, with all these new changes, who knows what all these guys' schemes. Can you pick? I mean, look at the enemies going back to, okay, so the enemies going back to Kansas City. What's that tell you? Well, that tells you that when the enemy was there, they had a pretty good running game. When the enemy was there, Travis Kelce was lights out and Mahomes was lights out, and they had a decent offensive line. Bringing back the enemy, to me, was probably the best move Andy Reid could have made. So I'm excited for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really don't know what's going to happen. Kelce going to play again? Is he don't want to leave Mahomes behind? What are they going to do in the running game? They got to get a running back. Pacheco just checked out. I don't know what the hell happened there. I was high on Pacheco. I don't know. Kareem Hunt's getting old. You know, that's a retread program. But I'm just saying, look over this list. You got a lot of new guys. Okay, so let's look at this Raider one. Andrew Jankeko, which we're going to talk a little bit about him and the Raiders later. So I'll save that, and we'll talk about him. But some of these guys on this list, I know their goddamn names. I mean, I just don't. I mean, some of them are ex-quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know. I am excited to see what Mike McDaniel can do. Now, what really gets me about Mike McDaniel thing out of the Dolphins is everybody had this guy as a clown on the podium after games. Everybody had this guy down as a clown and as a failure, and as the very first coach that's going to get fired into 2026. Wasn't the first, but it was pretty close. But yet now he ends up out at the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, and now all of a sudden he's the second coming of Christ. And everybody's so excited about Mike McDaniels and what he's going to do. He was a number one offensive coordinator go after, but he sucked as a head coach. Really? Really? You really think he was that bad a guy behind the podium, that bad of a guy as a head coach, but he's the second coming of Christ as an offensive coordinator? Seriously? I don't get it. The Sean Mannion thing, I'm a little excited, but really? Okay, he's coming out of Green Bay right now, may bring some things to the Eagles, but he's going to have a short leash. And if that offensive scheme, running everything across the middle and all the motion and all the pre-snap movement, if that don't work within the first 3 games, I can tell you he's not going to be calling the plays. Now, one little thing down here, too, with this Andrew Janako coming to the Raiders, he's not going to call the plays. Kubiak's still going to call the plays. He's already said that. So is this a move just to get the scheme organized with the players, and Kubiak's going to call the plays? Because Kubiak said he's calling the plays. So we'll see how that goes. But this list just blew my mind. I'm like, really? Wow. This Davis Webb deal getting promoted within the Broncos, I'm like, and Sean Payton coming out saying, I'm not going to call the plays in 2026. Webb's going to call the plays. You believe that shit? I don't. Sean Payton's never not called the plays ever since he's been a head coach. So all of a sudden in 2026, he going to give that up? I'll believe it when I see it. But that's just a lot of offensive coordinator changes. That's a lot of scheme changing. That is, pick your fantasy player and hope for the goddamn best due to some of that stuff. Some NFL dates that y'all need to be paying attention to. These are some of the things that, from a fantasy standpoint, a lot of guys don't pay attention to. A lot of guys getting ready to draft don't pay attention to. Us on the media side, these are all big dates for us because A, we're either going to cover them, or B, they bring content. They bring a lot of different things. So you got your NFL Combine all next week, February 23rd, starting up next week. You got the franchise tag, which is already basically opened. The deadline is March 3rd. So you're going to see some guys get nagged, guys like Pickens. There's talk of, so many guys getting the franchise tag. We'll see what happens there. Pickens is probably one of the big candidates to get franchise tag. We'll see what happens there. Bryce Hall's talked about getting franchise tag for the Jets. Who really gives a shit about the Jets and Bryce Hall? Bryce Hall, he needs to just hope he can get the hell out of New York because he's a good running back. He just doesn't deserve to stay there. So the new year brings a lot of triggers. This is an important day for guys, like Kyler Murray. These trigger whether guys are going to get paid, whether they're going to get cut, whether a team's going to eat the cap money and go on about their merry way. That's a very big deadline to NFL owners on whether they're going to take it in the butt or not. So pay attention to that one. There'll be some dominoes falling. I think Kyler Murray will be one of the very first dominoes to fall. Call it free agency, call it contractual reasons. But Kyler Murray's going to be one of the first dominoes to fall at the quarterback position to decide. It might not decide right where he's going right away, but it's going to decide whether he gets paid. It's going to decide whether he stays with the Arizona Cardinals. Then you got the annual league meeting, which is just another riffraff thing. Everybody throwing their shit around of what they want to do, what rules they want to change. And Jerry Jones goes down to Florida and makes a big ass out of himself. So we'll see where that goes. The NFL draft, something we all look forward to as fantasy football players. Some of us can't wait till the NFL draft to do our rookie drafts, and we roll the dice and we decide that we're going to pick our rookies prior to their landing spots, which sometimes is fun. I've done it both ways, so we'll see. Most of our inner circle leagues, we are drafting the day of or the day after the NFL draft, which I like doing because to me, in Dynasty, realistically, the first 2 rounds are the only thing that mean anything. Now, in a Devy league, it's a little different. I like the depth of the draft. I like more opportunity to have rookies, that kind of play into the flow of the Devy league players. But in a regular Dynasty league, seriously, you don't need to have more than 2 rookie picks in a Dynasty league, especially if it's 12, 14-man leagues. This bullshit of having 3 picks, 5 picks, 4 picks, 6 picks, it's all bullshit because they don't mean nothing. The first 2 rounds of a rookie draft in a dynasty mean something. So if you're in a league and you're drafting or you're going to be drafting your rookies, get those picks. If you guys are in kicker league as placeholders, I suggest you get your first 2 rounders right away. Especially in 2026, because there's not many more players than 5 or 6 guys that are worth a shit that have a possibility of starting anyway. All right, the NFL schedule release comes up. This is a lot of around the time that we find out when the bye weeks are. So, drafting right now, it's kind of crazy. You're rolling the dice. Like I like to say, you're rolling the dice on the bye weeks. We have no idea drafting right now what the bye weeks are going to be. Who the hell knows? All 3 of your quarterbacks in the startup draft could have the same goddamn bye week and you're screwed. So that just intensifies the fun, intensifies the wait, intensifies the unknown. But a lot of guys like to wait till all this shit is over, but our adrenaline, our addiction of drafting does not allow us to make it to find out when the buys are. So good luck with where your buys end up on the NFL schedule release. And then you got the 2006 NFL opener in September. This is a big time when a lot of the redrafts start. A couple weeks before the season, a lot of these guys that do redraft leagues, they like to wait right down to the end to figure out who they're going to draft, who they're not going to draft, injuries during the camp, injuries during season. And in today's NFL, you got to worry about who's getting fucking arrested. So, who's assaulting who's a wife beater, who's a girlfriend raper, and all of that. So good luck to Kansas City. I suggest you get Royals on the treadmill and get Royals going real good, or get your pocketbook out and go after Mike Evans or A.J. Brown. that's my opinion on that, and you can take it or leave it. All right, we got a little bit of update. If I can get, why is this son of a bitch? I can't get my screen thing to work at all. Okay. That was going to be a, what the hell? Hang on, guys. Trying to figure this out. All right, here we go. It's got to be smarter than the button. All right, sorry for that. You guys got to remember, I'm a stupid, old school, 59-year-old ex-truck driver. So my computer skills are shit. It's just like tonight. I had a guest that wanted to come on the show, and he says, hey, I need a haircut and this, that, and the other thing. I don't think I should come on the show because my hair looks like shit. I'm like, dude, seriously? Just come on the show, bro. But anyways, here's an update for you. If I can get this to pull up. Come on, man. This is really biting. Sorry, guys. This bites, man. Anyway, an update on the trophy. It's getting done. I had pictures of Jason already scheduled to show you guys, but it didn't come up. So, and for some reason my computer has crashed and burned. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Get out of here. We've lost everything, all screens, everything's gone. Could be a power outage, not necessarily, because the generator should have covered that. But anyways, guys, sorry for the problem. It was fun while it lasted. Make sure and check out the Saturday night show, 7 o'clock. We'll get in touch with you guys. Thanks to everybody again for the app and all your support. And we're going to go ahead and check out. Jimbo, see you. Bye.